Long as I wake up in the morning, I'ma get a bag. Get a bag, yeah, I'ma get a bag. Long as I wake up in the morning, I'ma get a bag. Get a bag, yeah, I'ma get a bag.
All right. What is up out there? How's everybody doing this evening?
What's up, guys?
Good evening.
Welcome to another episode of SportsBites. We are the self-proclaimed #1 sports podcast, bringing you the best of both worlds, sports and snacks. As always, I'm your host, Randall Horn. Tonight, in the booth, we've got my brother Don Schro over here.
How's it going?
And on the other side, new guest this evening, the beautiful,
Hello.
the one and only, my love of my life, my beautiful wife, Rachel Horn, over here on the mic.
Oh, hi guys. Nice to meet you.
Hello.
Didn't talk me up a little bit too much. They might be expecting too much.
You got a few shout-outs here and there.
Well then, we're just going to go ahead and jump right into this thing. Thank you all so much for being a part of this. We're so glad to have you here. Tonight's another big night, so we've already done our 50 subscriber giveaway. As of tonight, I believe we're at 104 subscribers, so y'all know what that means. It's time for another giveaway, the big 100 3-digit giveaway. Let's do it.
Big giveaway.
We've already got it set up. Don's already got it ready to rock and roll. We're going to go ahead and jump right into this thing. We're going to knock this out. Go ahead and do it up, Donnie.
Roller.
We getting fancy with the giveaways, y'all.
All right.
Woo.
Donated by our buddy Mark Wheaton.
Yeah, I'll say. You'll probably have to.
Shout out to Mr. Mark for allowing us to have this.
All right, go ahead and.
I'm going to crank it.
Crank it up.
Crank it. Doing like a little bit like a...
Yeah, a little shake. Yep. Return the...
All right, here we go.
100 sub giveaway. Let's go. This is a big one.
What's it going to be? Who's it going to be?
Harry Smith.
What? Oh, Care Bear with the big winning ticket.
Care
Oh, my
Bear.
goodness.
Wow.
All right. Congratulations, Carrie Smith. You are the official 100 subscriber giveaway winner. We've got a nice box of some Sports Bites love coming your way. Maybe a little something for Sam and Riot in there as well. You never know.
Yeah.
We're here at Sports Bites. Love the family atmosphere, and so even if we do
Very
have
close with
some
us.
terrible language on screen sometimes, we still love the family atmosphere.
Kids.
So again, Carrie, congratulations. I know we're all excited
Close
about
friend
that.
of ours, yeah.
Yeah, way to go.
really
That
close
was an awesome one. That was awesome.
Cool.
So, moving right along, the giveaway knocked out.
Yeah.
That's a
Awesome.
crazy
Started off.
winner right there. Yeah,
It's
that's
almost
what I'm
like
saying.
there's a different energy here tonight, y'all.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
different.
A little different.
Ah. Well, then we're going to
Getting
go
big
ahead and
fast.
jump right in because almost as big as the sports come the
the
snacks. We got to have the snacks. And I'm kind of hungry. I don't know about y'all, but I know
Could use
Rachel
a
brought
snack.
some stuff for us to try this evening. So we're going to go ahead and knock this out. I know one we had kind of talked
what
about
we
a little
got.
bit.
What do we
little
got?
combination of some things we've already
Combination
tried.
platter.
So tonight we've
Okay,
got
okay.
Zapp's Voodoo pretzel sticks, a little dots, a little voodoo mix in there. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And then
Got the
we've got the
dots.
Airhead Extremes Belt Candy. I love a good sour belt.
She loves some sour belts.
Sweet
Secrets.
and sour.
Yeah,
Sweet
we're gonna
and
see
sour.
how this goes. So
I guess salty and sour.
let's go ahead and knock this out. Let's see here. I'm excited about these, and I don't even like pretzels. I've
Yeah, I
made it
saw.
very clear on the
Voodoo
pod.
chips are the superior chip. If
They are.
anyone was wondering what the best chip is, it's the voodoo chip.
Regular pretzels,
Ooh.
are different. These just hit a whole nother way. They just got
Got
the
that tangy.
right seasoning on it.
I'm a fan of the normal.
So what?
belts
The
anyway.
voodoo is like super hot? Is that what this is?
No, so voodoo is like, imagine like a barbecue salt and vinegar.
Whoa!
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's got a crazy flavor.
Mm-hmm. That is zingy and buttery, like
It's
a pretzel should be. That's good.
It's like about what Dots
Yeah.
is, but a little bit
That's
more
like
zing.
another
Wow.
A little more
That's-
zing on that.
one. Mm-hmm.
Telling you, with a little cheese sauce or I don't know what would be
Ranch.
good with that. Yeah, ranch.
I'm not a ranch person. The buffalo in me hates that I just offered up ranch.
Not
But-
usually, but with pretzels, it'd probably be good.
I agree.
You're about to get disowned.
I
It's a
know.
lot of seasoning,
Blue
too.
cheese is still superior to Wings.
All right. Yeah, those are crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Knock
Wow,
out a
so-
whole bag.
Again, Zapp's Voodoo Pretzel Sticks, sinfully seasoned, New Orleans style voodoo.
Yeah, sinfully seasoned, all right.
Yeah, they're good.
Pick them up,
Crazy.
tons of flavor from a guy who hates pretzels. I'm digging those.
Yeah.
I am like
Yeah, dude.
I like
They
them
have
because you
other
don't taste
flavors.
any pretzel in it. Like it's all
Flavor seasoning.
buttery voodoo.
You can't eat like a bunch at once. You got to eat like one or two at a time.
Mm.
So it's a lot of bold flavor.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
Well, pretzel hater, why don't you start us off with a rating?
Well, we do the ratings at the end, babe. I know this is your first trip here to
Yeah.
Sports Bites.
We will do the ratings at the end, but just think about it, the whole time. Get it fresh in your head, and then we'll.
See, this is kind
it
of your
might
taste
change.
test, and then we'll go through some sports, and then at the end,
we
when
do it
we're
all the way at the end?
when we're getting
But look,
good and
I
hungry
swear I've
again.
watched
You
this
can-
show before.
You can eat some during the show, so
Okay,
it might
okay.
change your mind by
Yeah.
then. It could
That's
be
true.
like from a 9 to a 10 or
Oh.
8 to a 9.
I don't know about this.
Yeah, the sour.
Good grief.
Anything sour and spicy usually gets me.
I don't think these are that sour, though.
See,
Just like-
Airhead Extremes.
Put it on your tongue and let it rip.
Oh yeah,
Mm-mm.
that's nothing.
That's not sour at all.
What's the extreme? Just like the rainbow?
I suppose.
Taste the rainbow?
Oh, here's the sour meter right there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought in the middle it would at least be.
I'm eating another one though. Flavor's good.
It's got a cool name.
Mhm.
The extreme.
I love a good rainbow.
That was extreme.
Harold and Kumar. So damn extreme.
Extreme Doritos.
What's the song when they put the tape in or the CD in? It's like Extreme Mix.
Hold on for one more. And they start looking
That's
at
a
each
banger.
other. It's like posers.
You're like sitting there like they're by the end of it. They're just
Everybody, yeah.
From the
They do the
chain.
drum solo and everything.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was awesome. I mememorized that part.
Someday somebody's gonna make you want to turn around and say goodbye. Okay, all right.
That's enough
That's
of
as
that.
far as I'm going with it tonight. Well,
That's it.
I'm over here like wiping my hands on my pants to get these voodoo
Yeah, get
pretzels
the
because
seasoning off.
I really don't want to wipe them on my shirt.
Oh, that is a nice
'Cause,
shirt you have
That's a
there.
pretty nice
Tonight-
shirt. What we got on here?
Rocking the new Sports Bites polo.
It's a nice
Looking really
polo.
good. This one was made
Pretty
in-house
nice
by, again,
polo.
our own Rachel Horn, director of merchandise.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, we're working on some stuff. I'm digging it. I'm
Yeah,
digging
you know,
it.
we're
And
learning.
the shirt's comfy. Like, the
Well,
shirt's
that's what
very
matters,
comfy.
right?
Yeah, that's what matters.
You know, we talked about it last time. That's what it matters.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's comfy.
Nice.
Pretty cool.
I know, on a side note, in case he's watching, I know things got held up a little bit for Richard. Richard, I know if you are watching, I know you're a bit of a golf guy, but I want you to know that one of these is in the package on
Yes,
its way
sir.
to you.
It is.
So
On its
I hope
way.
you enjoy it. Threw in the white polo because I know some of those, spring, summer golf days it gets a little hot. The white
Yeah.
shirt kind of help keep you cool.
White's the best.
So,
Get a little airflow.
Absolutely. So I hope you like it. That being said, let's go ahead and jump into this. We've got some good topics tonight. We're going to start off big weekend this
do it.
weekend for the NBA All-Star Weekend.
Yeah.
It's
Supposed to be big,
some ups and downs. Some ups and downs for sure on All-Star Weekend. I'm going to move these down here so we can see each other.
Good idea.
We had the dunk contest. We had the All-Star game. And they had, kind of the... I don't know what's the the All-Star
That
challenge.
was hideous. It was.
So my thing was, just real quick, because I know
Louise.
we hadn't really discussed talking about it, but I do want to say, the obstacle course for the All-Star Challenge or whatever it is, that was the wimpiest course I've ever seen. And the fact that these guys came out there and were missing the direction
The arrow
going, I'm
was
like,
on the
Right,
ground.
did
Hello?
nobody practice this at all?
Yeah.
Like, did nobody say, hey, before
There was
you
no
go out,
rehearsal.
this is the
Right.
direction you're going to... These guys are like, screw it, I got a ball, let's just go.
Yeah, they're trying to go between the cones. There's an arrow
Yeah.
on the ground
Yeah.
telling you where to go. Yeah, it should have been
That's the
rehearsed.
following directions.
Should have been rehearsed for sure. I feel like a few times. Maybe.
I like the idea of the obstacle course. It's a cool idea. These are professional NBA players. It needs to be something more than just dribble around a couple obstacles and throw a layup, a three, and then run down court. Because let's be honest, nobody was really sprinting down court.
No.
Those guys were jogging down court, and then they were getting there, and most of the guys didn't want to dunk when they got down to the end. They were just tossing little layups in and was like, this is the part you should be showboating on. Like, this is the part.
A combine field.
Yeah,
We're here to show what we can do.
Yeah, like it's the All-Star weekend. Like they're trying to have fun, but also show your skills.
Exactly.
Show why you're an All-Star.
Exactly. Like, you're an All-Star for a reason.
So bad.
Why did we pick you?
Yeah,
Yes.
like that was so bad.
Yes.
Like some of the Hall of Famers, like I can't remember who was sitting down. Dr. J.
Mm-hmm.
He's just sitting there like.
He could still
what am I
probably
watching?
beat him right now.
Yeah, like what am I watching right now? Like this is insane.
Well, that being said, I do want to jump into. Well, we'll start with the dunk contest. Ups and downs on the dunk contest. I've definitely seen some much better dunk contests. It wasn't the worst performance I've ever seen, but it was kind of up there. It was up there.
I know one of the worst.
We had discussed. That's what I'm saying. It was definitely up there with one of the worst. Maybe not the worst I've ever seen, but it was definitely up there. You think?
Top 3.
Yeah.
They just don't put anybody good in it. Like everybody's so scared to do it.
Right.
They've even lessened like how many dunks per round and how many people and everything. Like just compete to have fun.
Yeah.
If you honestly think you're going to get hurt, okay. But if you're healthy as an ox and you're a good dunker, and you're an all-star or close to it, just compete.
Well,
The
I
guy that's won the last 2 years is a complete bench player.
One thing
Like, he
I've
hasn't
noticed.
set foot on the court at all.
One thing I've noticed in recent years is I remember being young, growing up, and seeing some dunk contests, and these guys were 360 between the legs, one arm jam, and now it's like, hey, what are you going to do? And he's like, I'm a hook jam, but I'm going to jump over a rhinoceros. And they're like, oh, yeah. I'm like, that's all it is. It's just I'm going to jump over something. And I'm like, dude, but that's been done so much. Like, you had players before jumping over cars. And so I'm like, all right, that's cool, but it's a dunk contest. It's not a jump over stuff contest.
Right.
Show me what you can do dunking the ball. Dude, bounce one off the backboard, do a 180, grab it, and dunk it. If you miss, the fans are still going to be more excited because they
went for it.
They saw you do something
Creativity.
cool. Exactly. And we just lacked that.
None.
Like,
it wasn't fun to watch.
Nobody's playing for fun anymore.
Yeah. Like it's not fun to watch because there's no creativity put in. There's no work put in.
Absolutely. And I know we talked about it before setting up for the show. But, we had, I don't even remember who it was. That's how unmemorable it was. But you had one player jump over a 5'9" person sitting down in a chair. And they went nuts. Like, judges went nuts and scored him ridiculous like he had done something. And I'm like,
there wasn't even a danger level.
What did he do? Like, I mean, did he like wink at him as he went up? Did he like flash him some dollar bills as he came up or something? And then they were like, oh, I was like, that really wasn't that big a deal. And then you got a guy jumping over Shaq.
Yeah.
And
the guy that deserved, because he had creativity, the one and only guy that had creativity.
Exactly.
Probably
like,
in the whole dunk contest.
He did the jump over something gimmick, but he had a pretty cool gimmick with it.
I'm going to jump over the tallest person here.
Yeah, legend, Hall of Famer. I'm going to jump.
He didn't even put his head down. He literally stood there the whole time.
And on top of that, added creativity to it. And I'm like, that right there, that's, if you're going to do a gimmick, that's how you do a gimmick. You keep it creative. You don't do, it's like they say in, in our Oceans movies that we like to watch. It's like, you don't do the last gimmick. You already did that. You could do the next gimmick.
The next gimmick.
Be creative. Come up with the next gimmick.
Well, that dude, Matt McClung, he hasn't had much time in the NBA on his respective team, but he won it last year as a rookie just because his creativity was crazy. And you probably didn't watch it, but he won on a 720. Like, guys doing 360s in the air, 540. Well, he kind of dunked it on the 540 and was still spinning, and then he landed the last half spin, so it was declared a 720, and it was unanimous.
Do you think that some people might argue that the reason that he goes balls to the wall every time is because he doesn't really have anything to lose?
And that's what I was thinking. Maybe most of the offseason he's practicing his dunks because he knows that's something I can at least shine in.
I mean, and if he gets hurt, he's not going to miss playing time.
Exactly. there's not much PT to lose. So yeah, exactly. You're getting awards from that. You're getting recognition, and then maybe eventually in a few years, people will
even the water boy gets a Super Bowl
recognize.
ring.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's a good player, and he came out of college.
Excuse me.
He got more than a Super Bowl ring.
Yeah,
He deserved it.
he got the bourbon ball.
I was going to say, he got Bourbon Bowl ring. Thank you very much.
Excuse me.
Oh, man. Well, like I said, it was disappointing. To me, not the worst I've ever seen, but again, it lacked a lot. It was very, I guess lackluster is the word I'm looking for. Like, they always make such a build up to it. Like All-Star Weekend.
I didn't even know who was competing until like the day before.
Correct.
And there wasn't much.
And the dunk contest, again, going back to like growing up, the dunk contest, it used to be something big. Like, you knew that if you watched the dunk contest, you were going to see something not just new, but you were going to see something wild.
And it was going to be somebody you wanted to see do it.
The whole crowd going crazy. Like,
yes, and now, talking about it, looking at the stats, and I know it, again, something else we all talked about, is finding out, again, I'm not a huge basketball guy. I've kept up with it a lot more since we started the podcast, but I'm not a huge basketball guy. 4 All-Stars ever in the dunk contest.
Crazy.
in the last 20 years.
In the last 20 years,
last 20 years, yeah. Because they stopped trying after 2003.
But that's
what Kobe was saying.
But that's what I'm saying. You look at the last 20 years, 4 All-Stars. How many All-Stars were in there before then?
Every year.
Yeah, every year.
I mean,
and look at how good. Like, it's almost like that was when the cutoff line was that it did start going downhill. Like,
yeah, like I will forever be a LeBron fan. LeBron's my favorite player of all time. But I respect Jordan just that little bit more because he actually had that fun and competed, and he won because of how great a dunker he is. And LeBron, no doubt about it, with his creativity level and how good a player he is, would have won if he would have entered. He wouldn't have even had to try that hard. Like, just come up with some crazy idea, just yam it.
Yeah.
He's not going to get hurt doing that. His thing was getting hurt. It's just like
Jordan still never stopped having fun, though.
Well,
exactly.
I'm a big
whole career.
I'm a big believer that if you think about getting hurt all the time, you're going to get hurt.
Yeah.
If you go out there and say, I'm tough, I'm going to do this, yeah, you might get hurt, but I feel like, and maybe it's just me, maybe I'm superstitious about it, but I feel like you're less likely. When you're worried about it constantly, it's going to happen. You're going to mentally put yourself in a place to get hurt. I get it. The dunk contest is not part of the season. These guys are playing for playoffs and championship rings. I understand that, but it is a part of the basketball season.
Take advantage of it. Like,
yes.
Dude, if you are invited to that weekend, not many players are invited to that weekend that aren't All-Stars. So, like Mac McClung, he took full advantage of his opportunity.
Right.
You know, and won his second straight slam dunk contest. Not many people have even done that. Won 2 in a row.
Exactly.
And the thing about McClung is, if I'm a pro athlete, fans are going to mean a lot to me.
Exactly.
They're going to mean a lot to me. That's what's going to keep me going.
Exactly.
And that's
where you get your fans and the young fans.
You can build such a fandom just off of those things. You don't have to be an all-star in the season who's, setting the league record for points scored or anything like that. You can be a regular, average, decent player who does something great in a situation like this, an event like this.
Absolutely.
And all of a sudden, you've garnered fans everywhere. You have fans who are...
I remember that probably was about 20 years ago. I can't remember who it was, but I probably could Google it, but we don't.
Not an all-star winning the dunk contest?
Yeah, he wasn't really a really popular player. He wasn't really good, but he won, and that kind of boosted him into popularity.
Stardom.
Yeah.
I'll think of it. I'll shout it out randomly, like midway through. I haven't thought of it.
Well, let's move into the All-Star game, or I don't even know if you can really call it that anymore.
The shooting
I would say shooting practice. The defensive state.
I don't even know how to roll into this subject because it was like if you're a fan of watching just copious amounts of 3-pointers get thrown up, you loved it then.
Oh, Duke fans?
You loved it.
I really can't believe I watched it all. Like, I watched most of the game. I really can't believe.
Were you watching it just waiting to be like, somebody's going to play defense in a second? Somebody's got to.
Obviously, I didn't care for the game at all. Listen to this real quick because I wrote it down. This West All-Stars because they changed the format back to West and
Right,
East this
East-West.
year instead of picking your own teams. This is literally like a first ballot Hall of Fame team. Okay, LeBron, Jokic, Durant, Kawhi, Luka, Booker, Davis, Paul George. And I think they had Cat and a few other guys that had potential of being Hall of Fame. That was a ridiculous team.
Absolutely.
And they were getting pooped on the whole game because of the format and how much they tried. Like, they should have blown them out. If it was like an actual game where they compete, even a little bit, competed, tried to play defense,
Right.
and like
Yeah,
went
you
to
got
the
a lot of
hole
defensive
and
players there.
had blocks and steals, they would have dominated. But I appreciated how great that team looked on paper, and then they got waxed the whole game just because Lillard and all them just jacking up threes.
Well, and that's so, obviously anybody who watched, anybody who didn't watch, the East beat the West 211 to 186. It broke the record for most points total scored in an All-Star game.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And that, to me, that coupled with
That's
a really
embarrassing.
fun stat right here is 211 to 186 with 3 total fouls called all game. I get it. It's the All-Star game. You're still there to play basketball.
Yeah.
Nobody showed up to
that
play.
wasn't basketball. That's not basketball at all.
Yeah.
That's like, dude, we've had more competitive
sickening.
games going out to Wasena and playing pickup on the friggin' court down there.
With
Like,
some middle schoolers.
yeah, I mean, that we've had more competitive games doing that than that was even close to. Kendrick Perkins came out, said it was disrespectful to the entire game of basketball. And I got to agree with him. I'm like, any kind of pro who's ever played the game of basketball, like, I feel like guys like Jordan watch something like that and they're just like, they just turn it off. Like, I feel like that has to make guys, like, I would love to hear, like, God rest his soul, I would love to hear what Kobe would say about something like that.
That's great.
Like, some shit like that would be...
That's crazy you said that because I had something written down a few years before his pass. The All-Star game started just getting terrible.
Yeah.
Like, maybe not this bad because this was all-time bad, but it started getting bad as far
Yeah.
as defense. And he said, you can go to UCLA and find a pickup game.
Yep. More competitive pickup
competitive
games.
than that.
Yep.
Yep, absolutely.
Go find a college game. Some random college guys not even on the freaking team
Yep.
playing. I guarantee that'd be more competitive.
And he's right. There was no compete in that game at all.
Everybody,
Yeah, and it's
they're
just getting
so
worse.
Soft. It's they're
Yeah.
just so soft.
And in all honesty,
Viewership.
it kind of went back on what we've talked about already in a previous podcast. To me, it shows this glaring issue with the league nowadays, this new generation. We talked about the lack of defense throughout the league, just in the regular season. Teams don't play defense the way they used to. You see scores getting higher and higher and higher. This right here was just a glaring proof of that. Like, I get it's the All-Star game, but I feel like these guys went out there and was like, hell, this is our thing. We're used to this. Like,
Yeah, I'm not even going to put my hands up.
I'm more valuable if I'm dropping threes than I am if I'm blocking shots.
Yep.
And I'm like, defense wins championships. This is not the same as a competitive game in the season, but it's still supposed to be somewhat competitive. You show off your flashy stuff, I get that. But you have to compete. Like, you have to show the world why you're there.
Play flashy defense.
Exactly.
And like the last time they let West face the East, they played like 3/4 of let's chuck it up, yam, and go play ball, fun ball. The last quarter though,
Right.
they turned it on. They at least played a good competitive quarter.
Yeah.
They were at least doing that. They said from 2003, the viewership was at 10.8 million. That's probably the last good year of the All-Star game. 2023, 20 years later, it's down to 4.6.
Wow.
So 10.8 cut in half is 5.4.
Which is crazy.
less
Think
than
about
half.
it. 2003 to 2023. Think about it. There was no big YouTube in 03. Like, it was around, but it wasn't what it is now.
Nah.
There was no Facebook showing Facebook Lives and all. There was none of
right.
these social medias that push every platform pushes a copy of the game with their own name on it. Think about how much more that game is pushed out there now, and the viewership is less than half.
Yep.
That tells you everything you should know.
I mean, that should want That should be what the NBA wants, is views.
Right,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And more recognition
Yep.
and more people wanting to watch my sport.
Yes.
As a commissioner,
Yes.
Adam
Yes,
Silver,
right.
he literally said before this game, a week before, it's going to be more competitive. It's going to be more competitive. It's going to be more fun to watch. No, it wasn't.
No.
It was actually one of the worst I've ever
Yeah.
seen, if not the worst.
I feel like that he
I've
might
ever
have jinxed that one up by being like, "This is going to be one of the best ones. We got
Dude,
this. This is going to be one of the
from
best
start
ones."
to finish, these guys are just watching them shoot up threes or watching them drive right by and dunk.
Yeah.
I'm just like, man, like, come on, every now and then, but not every play.
Well, so here's my question then. Obviously, something has to change. So you have to change something. If you want it to get fixed, you got to change something. I'm sure, like you were saying to me earlier, that that there's some bonuses and stuff for winning and being a part of the All-Star weekend. And I'm sure there's money that I don't know the amounts and stuff. I'm not even gonna try to guess. But there is perks to winning. I'm sure there is.
Yeah.
If it's a monetary perk, if you get $10,000 for winning the All-Star game, and you're a player who's making $7 million a year, what is that to you? What that is a drop in the. That's not even a drop in the bucket. That
Wipe your butt with that one.
yeah, like that's
Yeah,
you're taking some friends out to dinner with that money one
Yeah.
time. That's
at
like
least, yeah.
that's and you're probably dipping into your savings account even then to finish paying for dinner. Like, but you know what I'm saying. So, reading some stuff on it today, one idea that I saw that I thought was really interesting is you continue doing East-West in the NBA All-Star game. However, one little thing you add in, conference, the winner of the game, that conference seals home court in the finals. You start putting merit in why you're there, not just to show off playing a game, but you make it more competitive, especially for the guys who, at that point, their teams are in the running.
Yeah.
They're going to be more apt to play as hard as they can. And on top of that, they're going to try to get, the guys that are with them. Say, you have an all-star in there that's on a team that's losing, that's not going to make it to the playoffs. But you say, hey, man, like, you don't have to. I don't expect you to. But, man, let's, do it for us. Like, help me out. Like, we're boys. A lot of these guys are friends. Outside of whatever team they're on, they're friends. And they're all basketball players. They all have the same respect for the game, or at least a very similar respect to the game as the guy beside him, and the guy beside him, and the guy beside him. So you tell them, like, hey, play for pride. Play for pride for this conference.
Yep.
And help some of us seal. If your team's not going to make it, if you already know you guys are basically statistically out, wouldn't you rather see the title come back to our conference? At least that pride. Wouldn't you rather? Like, how many times have we, in baseball, man, I don't want to see us lose to a division rival. But if we lose to a division rival and they go all the way and they win the whole thing, at least I can say, hey, we brought it back to the division.
I don't feel that way in pros. I feel that way in college.
I feel that way in the pros minus certain teams. Like, I will never root
The
for the
Phillies.
Cowboys. I will never root for the Cowboys to bring a Super Bowl
Or the
home
Patriots.
and be like, oh, they brought the title back to the NFC East. No, absolutely not. That's never going to happen. And the Phillies, again, no, that's not going to happen either.
Never.
But I could see myself, say, like, rooting for the Nationals.
Yeah,
I could see that, like, bring it home to the NL East. I could see myself saying, I'll root for them if we're out. I want to see it come back here. The Mets is not going to happen.
Marlins, maybe.
The Phillies, the Marlins,
Miami, maybe.
yeah.
I wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
I
Miami.
told myself if the Marlins made it past us this last playoffs that I was going to root for them because they squeaked in so barely, and they had a team that was like, if they could catch fire, they could run with it. But they
They all
had such a
to
hard
show
time
up
finding
on the
that
same
fire.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
That nobody was performing at the same time.
But that was an interesting idea. Was the conference winner gets home court in the finals? What y'all's thoughts on that? Like, because it's going to have pros and cons.
I honestly thought that was the format for a long time. I'm not sure what exactly the prize for winning the NBA All-Star Game is now, but I'm almost positive back in the day there was like a home court thing or some kind of advantage that the West or East has if they win. But I know, like, in the MLB All-Star Game, like we were talking before we started, they go all out from start to finish. There's such a designed plan as a coach because you have so many good pitchers, so you got to know who to put in for an inning at a time or out at a time. Just like you can use every single person you have because they're all there. You might as well use them.
Absolutely.
And that's a strategy kind of thing. And I feel like, NHL All-Star games, they're obviously going hard the whole time. They're not just letting people score. Like most of these sports, the All-Star game matters, and it's not just them having fun. It's showing the other guys that are good in the league, I'm good too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here. So, I'm going to show out in front of the fans.
Absolutely. And I'm looking, I can't see any perks that they have other than monetary compensation.
Yeah,
That's all I see.
I honestly
And some
thought
of it,
back in the day there was, but maybe they changed it.
like, some of it is good. Like, there are some things from what I'm reading right here, and I haven't got a chance to fact check, really. This is just one of the first things that came up.
I think it's
main
just
event
number one
All-Star
seed
Saturday
in
night
NBA.
comes with a $100,000 prize. The winner of the NBA dunk contest earns a six-figure reward. Runner-up gets $50,000. Third and fourth place participants get $20,000 apiece for the dunk contest. All right,
bad.
that's cool. Dunk contest, that's
Worth
fine.
it.
I'm down with that for the dunk contest. Dunk contest,
$100,000?
monetary compensation, good purse for that.
Yeah, he earned that.
But the All-Star game should carry some clout behind it that has repercussions down the road.
They'll definitely look into it after this year just because of how much it got bashed.
Look
by
how bad
every commentator the
Yeah.
next day.
Yeah.
Look how bad the NFL used to be.
Yeah.
And nobody used to tune in
And
for
what
the
did they
All-Star
do?
game.
They
And this year they changed it up.
Yeah, the Pro Bowl
the
was...
commissioner,
And this Pro
literally,
Bowl,
it was
yeah.
the commissioner. He was like, dude, I got to have more viewers. I
Yeah.
have to have more fun with this or else we're going to lose our viewers.
Absolutely.
And that's what he did, and it was a lot more fun.
Yeah,
And
the fun games and
just-
just seeing. We want to see people be people.
yeah,
But even the Pro Bowl, like this year, the Pro Bowl games, the
Yeah.
challenges, the flag football game, everything about the Pro Bowl, you could see a perfect blend of fun and competition.
Correct.
They were right in the middle of it. I'm going to go right back to what we talked about. Jason Kelsey, that was the dude was having fun on the sled,
Yeah.
trying to help his
they all
team win.
were.
He was intense, but
His
he was
teammates were
smiling and
helping
having
in,
fun
and
like
it
he
was
was
fun.
trying to get them to win. And the moment he was up, once they crossed that line and won, they're all out there celebrating, cheering, having a good time. Compete, fun.
Yeah.
Right in the middle.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
And that's what it should be. These all-star,
Show the other guys what you got.
like, dude,
You know?
the home run derby.
Exactly.
The home run derby is a spectacle that is entertaining every year. And you know why? Because those guys come out and they try. Every single at-bat, they try.
They
And
are
they're just
tired by
competing
the
with
end.
themselves.
Yes.
They're not competing against anybody else.
Yeah.
They're competing also with themselves.
Mhm, exactly. Well, there was one good thing, the Steph versus Sabrina, I think you wanted to hit on.
Yes,
I
yes.
think that was one of the highlights of
It might have
All-Star
been
weekend.
the highlight.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
thought that was awesome. Just like the format, how they set it up. The
yeah. I mean,
championship belt.
I'm going to tell you right now, Sabrina, I think, what they say, she was 25, 28, something.
Yeah, she missed
scored,
3.
She
Yeah.
scored 26.
26 points, but she only missed 3 shots.
Yeah.
She missed more. She missed a few more than that because those big ones, the longer ones they had set out.
Oh, yeah.
Like the 4-point balls, I guess the bunny balls are 2. It was the 3-point balls. I think she missed both of those, and that was like one of the only reasons she didn't beat Steph. I think she might have missed like 3 regular
Yeah, she
balls,
scored 26.
which was the tied for the
Right, which is what
But
Damian Lillard scored in, 3 rounds?
yeah
And
as
won.
the championship.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
That
that's
Damian
that's
won
pretty
with that
amazing.
score. So yeah, Sabrina scored 26 on her one and only attempt, and she shot from NBA range, which was
Insane.
absolutely impressive. I mean, she came out, I think, and hit her first 8
Yeah,
in
she
a
was
row,
on
and
fire.
Steph's
It was
just like wide-eyed, like wow.
Right?
yeah. Was she going to miss one?
Yeah.
I must have had it wrote down or so, like.
She started getting a little jitters, and then she turned it back on at the end, but still, like, she would have beaten any guy except Steph.
Yeah, he's right. So 18 of 27 shots,
okay.
starting 7 for 7.
Yeah, 7 for 7.
Pretty crazy.
She shot from the NBA 3-point line. Yeah, I don't know where that stat came from that I saw, but I remembered seeing
Yeah,
something.
like that.
It was last year. She only missed like 1 shot
Yeah,
in her
crazy.
3, but that was from WNBA range.
Right.
So she wanted to step it up and shoot from
Good for her.
Steph's range and be respected. That was very impressive. And
That's what they need to add to the All-Star weekend. They need to add a classic game of horse.
yeah,
Or
That
I would like a 3-on-3.
Something like
just
that.
new ideas to spice it up.
That's another.
anything.
That was another idea that I'd read today. Was 1v1 and 2v2, and you set aside. It was like a half-court game,
Swear
1v1s
they
and
used to do
2v2s.
different stuff every year.
But you do that and everybody goes to the very end. It's like single elimination, basically a single elimination tournament. You do like a best or first to 11 games, something like that. And you have these players, and you come out. I like the idea, except for the fact that some All-Stars are not necessarily shooters.
Yeah.
Some All-Stars are out there because they can block, because they set great assists. Some All-Stars are out there, they can score points, and that's why I kind of like the idea of a 2v2 over a 1v1, because some guys, 1v1, like...
If you get a bad matchup, you're just screwed.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Like,
Like,
off the bat.
but if you do a 2v2 where you have a shooter and a big man, shooter and a big man, shooter and a big man
Yeah,
on
that
every
would be
team,
fun
and
to
you let
watch.
those teams run, I think you could have more of a competitive format by moving into that kind of
That would be really
situation.
fun. I want to really do that. Listen to us.
You need to
NBA.
type it up, send it into Silver
Right.
tonight.
Attention, Adam Silver. Have I got a great idea for you?
But
We
yeah,
have some ideas.
but yeah, finish up on Steph. I mean, his Moneyball rack was his last rack, and I mean he did that for a reason. But going into that Moneyball rack, he was down bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it was
And-
Yeah.
He missed his first
and
of the Moneyball rack, and I was like, dude, she's about to win this. And then he hits his
Like
last 3 or 4,
sank.
and he was celebrating and everything, dude. But he was sweating.
Absolutely.
He was like, oh my god, if I freaking lose to a girl, and she shot NBA range. You got to give her respect.
Yeah.
I mean, she,
Oh yeah.
even in her league,
Absolutely.
all she does is pull up from 30. She doesn't
Even-
even use the line.
Even with Steph winning, she probably garnered more
yeah,
respect,
Yes.
cemented. Yeah,
not just for herself, but
picking
for
her
the
to-
WNBA.
Yeah.
Because she stepped up to the plate and was like, okay, the challenge is here. It's
Right.
been accepted.
let's
Let's
do
do
it.
this. I'm not backing away from this. Let's knock this out.
And evening out the playing field says a lot too, because then people can't say like, oh well, it wasn't as far. She didn't have as much skill. So
Mhm.
I definitely
Yeah,
like
Most
that
definitely.
idea.
Women are coming up in a lot of things. I've obviously seen like little girls coming up with Little League Baseball. I've heard like they're letting girls actually play
Baseball.
college baseball now, and that's starting to be big. They've allowed women kickers on college football teams. They're
Hockey teams popping up all over the place.
exactly. I mean,
So,
why not? If
yeah.
they're just as good as the guys, let them play.
I mean, even my wife, like, she makes a mean sandwich.
I'm
Better
not
than
so sandwich, y'all.
better than any of the guys.
Yeah,
I'm kidding, but you played field hockey, didn't you?
I played lacrosse.
Lacrosse, that's what it was. You
That's
played
a-
lacrosse.
That's a rugged sport.
yeah, it's a
I,
tough sport.
I broke my leg playing lacrosse.
I could see that.
Well, I guess it's kind of an afterthought, but we will go ahead and talk about briefly. Damian Lillard did win MVP for the All-Star game.
Because he shot 28 threes.
Can you have an MVP truly in that kind of All-Star game? Can you really
if there
have
was
an
one,
MVP?
if there was one player that did really good all game, because first of all, he made like 2 half-court shots, which was insane, and then he was just consistent the whole game, I think, and they were winning. Like I said, I named that team to you. They were winning by 20 plus most of the game because West would start coming back, and it would be a little bit competitive here and there, and the Dame would come, boom, boom, hit
And
2
just,
threes,
yeah.
and next thing you know, it's
Bump
20
them up.
again.
Yeah.
So he did well. I'll give it to him. I'll still say it because I've been saying it all year. He can win 3-point contests. He can be an MVP of an All-Star game. Can he do that in actual game play? Because he's a great player, great shooter, but I'll forever say that they blew it making those big trades for him because they're starting to see, even right before All-Star break, he had like 2 games that he was like 3 for 13 from 3 going in.
Well, yeah, you gotta build them around.
Yeah.
Right? You can't just be one guy.
He's one-dimensional, and he doesn't pass the ball much, and he gets scored on by any point guard that comes against him. So there's not much value there.
Well, and what I've seen is
Not much value overall.
I guess on the
like
same note,
plus minus.
on the
It's in
same
the
note as you're
minus.
saying, with him being one-dimensional, he seems to be very predictable.
Exactly.
Like, and that's what I feel like defenses in the NBA are going to key in on a guy that they
Yeah,
know
you want to
what
shoot
his
from
gimmicks
35? I'm gonna
Right, you
come
just
key
keep
in
him
on
out.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep him out.
Mhm.
Well, at the end of the day, he did win the MVP. The All-Star game, very disappointing.
He won the 3-point contest too. I'll give him that.
That's true.
That's
Yeah,
true.
you're
He did
right.
good.
You're right.
There
Yep.
was a lot of good shooters on that.
Best and worst, best favorite part of All-Star weekend.
I mean, like we said, even if it was for 5 minutes, I enjoyed watching Steph for Sabrina, just because that's like a new age. You're seeing Caitlin Clark breaking the women's college points record. She's going to be obviously in the WNBA next year, and she's going to be doing what Iniescu's doing, shooting from 30, 35 feet. So it's like a new age of player, and I love watching that type of stuff. So, it's just a new idea. Like you said with the horse, it was kind of a new idea, and I feel like that was one of the best things because it was a new idea and it worked. And like Steph was sweating, like I said at the end, and that's a great shooter, and they're going to keep doing it every year, I think. Sabrina versus Steph. So that's just something new that they started.
If Steph loses, he shakes hand and he laughs and has a good time and he walks off the court. Do you think it messes with his mindset after coming off the court?
I don't think it messes with
No.
him, but if he did lose that, you really have to respect her name at the
You
end
mean
of
this
that.
time or next year?
Well, I meant this time.
Oh,
I feel like
because-
she's going to be gunning for him
Because
next year.
Steph is a
Absolutely.
fierce competitor. And that's why, not necessarily because he's weak-minded or anything like that. He's just a fierce competitor. And as a fierce competitor, you can go up against the best of the best and you want to win. And if you lose, it's very easy to at least have to sit there and dwell on, man, what could I have done better? Like, I gave that up. Like, I shouldn't have lost that. I know I should. That's kind of what I'm saying. Like, do you think he goes home that night after everything, after the celebrations for everybody, and he sits down and he's like, I dropped the ball on this one.
I think it would be respectable. I think he'd have a little smile on his face. He'd still know that he's the best shooter probably to ever play the game.
I agree.
But she could end up being one of the best women shooters to ever play the game. You never know. 10 years, you could be saying
but
that. So
she just wanted to be the best shooter.
yeah, she's a great player overall too. She's not just like a ball hog. I'm gonna shoot every time. She's in the WNBA. That you have to be passive. You have to play team ball in order to succeed. So she's doing really well. Besides just being that good shooter. So
well, one little note: happenings. I know we try to stay up on just about everything that we can. Brooklyn. Jock Vaughn out.
Okay.
He's gone. They've already brought their interim in. I can't remember the name. He was already a coach for them.
they got a really young team. They're building.
Yeah. Do you think it's... We're halfway through February. Do you think this is an odd time? Or do you think that it's something that was planned maybe? That this was coming like maybe a month ago when they knew things were, they were having some big time issues? Do you think that this is something that they were like, hey, we're going to give you another month to kind of figure this out, but if you can't, you're gone? Or do you think that this was something where they've been trying to give them the benefit of the doubt and then just kind of like, okay, we're done. We've had enough with this. We're done.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how it works, behind the scenes, but I'm sure, the coach has to get along with the front office. He has to get along with all the guys, the GM, everybody, and he also has to put a good game plan on the floor every night. If he's not succeeding in that and he's not doing his job, that's going to show game after game after game. And when you got players, that are pretty much ad-libbing half the plays and going down the court and just driving to the
Right.
hoop or
Doing what
throwing
they
one
want.
pass and shooting, that's not a play design. I'm sorry. That's just two players trying to score some points.
Well, and it
So-
was Brooklyn's players that they showed on the sideline, wasn't it? Writing their own plays up. At one point in
Yeah,
the
and
season, they had guys that were writing their own plays up. I'm like, dude, that
does happen. If somebody smart on your team has an idea of what can stop the defense, they're trying to shut you down. That's one thing. But like you said, like the coach should be the guy that here, I got this. I'm gonna draw up a play. I know you got it, but
he fakes left. No. He fakes right. No. He doesn't fake.
he thinks about faking.
He pretends to fake. I don't know where I'm at.
Always with the movies.
Hey, Waterboy's one of the best.
You could quote that movie all day and
Dude.
still have some more stuff to quote.
I could do some water boy, but I'm not going to do it on camera.
You can do it. All right.
Well, that about covers the big weekend for the NBA. Kind of lackluster weekend, especially as much as it was built up. You know,
Yeah.
Obviously they spent a lot of money on advertising to get this thing built up to what it is. I know that it's not just pros. I've been on Twitter and Instagram seeing some of the stuff. Fans are pissed.
Yeah, commentators, everything.
Well,
Like,
yeah,
dude,
it's-
nobody
what's
wants to
the
see
point?
that.
Well, and you
Nobody
know,
wants to see it.
even if it's just a matter of time spent sitting on your couch watching it, man, who do I got to go see to get the last 4 hours of my life back? Like, that's the question that a lot of these people have been posting. Is like,
That's a good.
this is a travesty. I wasted time watching this, and so many people. One thing I kept reading was people who were like, I kept watching, expecting it to get better,
Yeah,
and it got
never
worse.
I know.
And
That's what I said. I thought they were going to at least start trying.
Yeah,
No.
and they were like, it just went downhill from Jump Street, and so
I mean, dude, you got Luka shooting half-court shots coming high off the backboard. And then the next possession, Jokic gets the ball. They try to let him dunk, and he completely whiffs it. I'm like, dude, it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
It's like, it's almost funny. It's hysterical. Like, what? Why?
yeah. Well, All-Star Weekend's done for the NBA. It's done and over. The second half of their season really starts running through. I guess it's about half of the season. All-Star's usually about
It's a little
halfway.
bit more than
Yeah,
half.
I'll say
Yeah.
a little bit further. But you know, second half, almost half, whatever. It's going to start, and that's going to start firing off. You know, you're going to start having playoff pictures going to start opening up a lot. It'll be interesting to see where some of these players and teams really get to push the end of the season to see what players can finish strong and which players just kind of cool off. Which teams finish strong and which teams cool off as well. Every sport is about catching fire when you need it, and this is the time where some of these teams really need to find it.
I agree.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see where that goes. I was going to hit a little bit on the March Madness bracket pictures, but we've still got a couple of weeks before it really starts to take shape. We've got some big games still coming up in the next few weeks, and so I'm kind of holding off on that until we get a little bit closer to where we can really. I looked at some projections on brackets today, and I was like, some of this stuff is just it's too far off. The teams are probably close as far as the projections of getting in, but the seeding is. I'm like, I don't see some of these teams remaining at the seeds that they're projected for right now. So
Right.
that's also that's something fun coming up. I know we all love March Madness. That's the one thing, as a guy who didn't really watch basketball very much, that's the one thing that I do kind of get into is like I can watch the last couple weeks before March Madness, see which teams are looking really good, which ones I like, and then kind of go from there and say, hey, Florida State's going to win it all.
The best, honestly,
Golly.
the best. If you haven't been keeping up all year, the best time to watch it is like a week or two before
Right.
conference,
Get those bubble games.
the conference championship series and everything. I will say, because I'm just watching sports all the time. That's all I do. I don't watch anything else because I'm a nerd. But UConn completely dominated the whole tournament last year.
Yeah.
Why are you laughing at me?
Because I said you are a nerd.
I know, but it's, hopefully it'll pay off one day. But yeah, UConn definitely dominated the whole tournament last year. They didn't even get really challenged. And this year it's almost looking like the exact same.
Yeah.
They're 24-2 and they've won their last 14.
Their coach just took over second overall
They,
in all-time wins.
yeah, I think they, I'm not sure if they were at Marquette. I'm pretty sure they were. Marquette was number 4, nationally ranked. UConn was obviously number 1. They haven't given up that spot in the last 10 weeks. They beat number 4 Marquette 81-53, and it wasn't even like it wasn't even competitive. It was insane to watch a team like that. I mean, Marquette is a great team, and they've been beating a lot of good teams to get that number 4 spot. UConn just literally dominated on every aspect. I mean, down low, the offensive rebounds is the main thing, and that's what wins really anything.
Oh, yeah.
Especially in the playoffs. If you got guys, and they got 2 big guys, they get those offensive rebounds, you can dominate a whole game because you're getting second
I'll
shots,
say
third
second-
shots,
Correct.
third
chances
opportunities.
is where it's at.
You could play perfect defense twice. You let them get it a third time, they're going to score.
Well, and those second and third chance opportunities, they break a defense down. you start giving up second and third opportunities multiple times
Defense
in a row.
getting tired.
Your defense is like, dude,
Just like football, letting up third downs, and
Yes.
fourth downs.
Well, then you
like,
start getting fouls. They're
Yeah,
more likely
exactly.
to, maybe not hold their hand up. Now they're going to hit you. You're
they're
going to
getting
get
more
those
upset.
fouls,
Yep.
and now you're going to get more points because of that.
But yeah, that was like, I've been following it, but obviously UConn's just been so dominant all year. They're the favorite, probably going in no matter what happens the next few weeks.
Yeah.
I will say something for our Virginia boys. Virginia Tech absolutely spanked
Dude,
UVA last night.
They
Gross.
romped
And it was
UVA.
it was awesome to watch. Tech's had an up and down year, and UVA's been pretty decent. But dude,
Yeah.
for them to just come in Tech,
Something got lost on 81.
It did.
I think they left the bus at home or something. Maybe.
You might have got
I
lost
don't
on
know.
64. I don't even know if it made it to 81.
Maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, it didn't make it all the way to Blacksburg.
Well,
that was wild.
yeah, that was pretty crazy. Like I said, some big weeks, some big months ahead for basketball, college and pros. It'll be interesting to see where everything shakes out. I think it's going to be an interesting tournament this year. That being said, let's move on a little bit. Next topic, I know y'all aren't the biggest on. I know that y'all both watched bits and pieces of it. I think you said you actually watched the whole thing. Great American Race was this weekend. No, not everybody's a fan. I love it, but I'm a car guy. I love seeing the new cars. Now, I don't watch all the races. I watched some ones that were interesting. One thing I liked, the moment they said it's going to be a rain out, I was like, cool, they're going to be night races. I love night races. They are so
they
cool.
postponed it, right?
Yeah, I'm like, they had rain Saturday and Sunday, like terrible rain in Daytona. And Xfinity got rained out Saturday. They were supposed to run it Monday morning. It was still raining Monday morning. They were like, we're going to have to run it. Xfinity didn't run till 9 o'clock Monday night. It was crazy.
Cars, yeah.
That's wild.
But that being said, speed weeks are always fun. Now it's kind of just speed week because they only do 1 week in Daytona. They used to do 2 weeks with some cool races here and there. But speed week this year, it has been wild from the first green flag of the duels back last Thursday. The truck race was wild.
Mm-hmm.
The Cup race ended up being crazy. The Xfinity race, I thought for sure I was going to be disappointed. Like, I'm going to stay up late and watch this thing, and I'm going to get up for work and be like, dude, why did I do that? Dude, the Xfinity race was nuts last
Everybody
night.
was racing.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I've never seen cars so out of control before in my entire life watching racing. Those guys were like, I have no shits to give at all.
No.
Like, I'm going. They had what was it, the ARCA driver. There was an ARCA driver that raced Friday night in the ARCA series at Daytona, and he told his crew chief, he came over the radio, and they were about to make the last caution. They were about to go green, and he told his crew chief, he was like, I am laying my foot all the way down on the gas, and he said, I'm not lifting until I see God or the checkered flag. And I was like, dude, that's a wild statement right there, dude. Like,
Seeing demons.
holy shit, dude. Like, until I see God or the checkered flag, I'm like, that's some Days of Thunder stuff right there. Like,
It could
oh my
happen.
God. But
Always the race you're not thinking is going to be good actually end up being good.
the adrenaline, man, when they show, I like where they show the biometrics now from the
like their heart
drivers.
rate and stuff.
Dude, that stuff, some of those guys, I truly feel like
pretty
the
cool.
adrenaline runs the entire race. The adrenaline never stops.
Yeah.
They're just,
I think that's why they put those so that we can say that racers are athletes now
right?
because they get their heart pumping.
Shit, racers,
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, racers are athletes. Those guys train.
It takes a lot of work to do
absolutely.
that.
It's
Yes.
endurance, tons of endurance.
Some little notes. Like I said, wild races all weekend. Big crashes, big speed, a lot of crazy stuff. William Byron out of
Yes.
Charlotte, North Carolina.
Ooh, I was happy to see
Somebody
him win.
new to win. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been in a few years. First 500, big win. I was talking to you guys beforehand, and it's crazy to see how many of these drivers in Cup, are these little kids whose parents let them start racing go-karts
Midgets
and
yeah.
quarter midgets and stuff like that, and they built themselves up through the ranks, and then they raced sprint cars and outlaw cars and stuff like that until they got to where they could race through the NASCAR ranks. And you got William Byron, man. This dude raced iRacing. He
Right.
raced on a sim
Yeah,
to learn racing. And he just won the Daytona
Just hopped in the
500, man.
pretty sweet.
The Great American Race, the Super Bowl of races. He just won the biggest race in America, really. And I'm like, dude, that's awesome. Like that for like to all the kids out there. Like if you want to do it, that goes to show you don't have to come from generational money
Right.
to be able to do this. That means you don't have to come from a family who has a legacy in NASCAR to make it up there. That means that you don't have to have a start learning to drive a car at 3 years old. That means you don't have to have that.
Right.
That means you can buckle down, you can put everything you've got into it, and you can learn in whatever way makes you comfortable, and you can still achieve greatness. Daytona 500 winner, William Byron. Love the fact that he's got Liberty University as a sponsor, I
Yeah.
believe. He's had Liberty University as a sponsor for, I think, the last 3 or 4 years, which is always kind of cool, Liberty being right down the road from us. I always
Yeah,
think that's kind of a
pretty
cool
sweet.
sponsorship.
Big
I-
weekend for Hendrick.
Yes. Well, and the funny thing was, they're talking about in the race, they're like, all weekend, they're like, Toyotas looked great. They get to the races, they're like, Fords look strong. Everyone's like, where the Chevys at? Where the Chevys at? And I joked with her at the end, the last crash happened,
Everybody was Chevy.
and the Toyotas were gone. The Fords were gone. And all these Chevys were in there, and I was like, maybe Chevy's invested their money in the drivers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
seems
Superior
like
drivers.
it.
Yeah, and I mean,
Pretty cool.
it was entertaining. You know, you get a new aero package every couple years. It changes how the cars drive. It was
Right.
entertaining to see it. It sucks seeing Jimmy Johnson get knocked out of it so early. I really wanted to see him do well. I know we've got a young up-and-comer that we have kind of been keeping an eye on. It sucked. The same crash as Jimmy Johnson got caught in. I think it was like 6 laps in or however many it was. He gets taken out. Carson Hocevar. Really liked watching him come up through the ranks. I think he's going to do pretty good in Cup. Obviously, our son being named Carson definitely has
Yeah, I see that.
hits home on that one. But I've seen him in the garage, like on rain out
Yeah.
races where he's talking.
Fun.
And yeah, he's like a fun-loving kid, likes going around joking with other drivers, having a good time. I like that in a driver.
Gotta have fun.
Absolutely.
Always.
I will say this, about the Daytona 500. Neither me, Robert, nor Brent were right on our picks. So
That would have been hard to pick him.
it
Oh.
kind of he has a great team. He has a
Yeah.
great team.
I wish I would do this. Maybe you know this statistic. How many drivers have won their first race? At
In
Daytona.
Daytona, not many.
Couldn't tell you.
Very
Randall?
Just a few.
Trevor Bain.
Well, yeah.
That's
he
a
won
good
his
one.
Remembers him.
first.
That's.
That's a good one.
That's-
That's a good one.
I think there's only one or two. Really?
Yeah, I
Not
think
that
there's only a
many.
couple drivers that have ever won
Yeah.
their first
That's-
race
Right,
at Daytona.
at Daytona.
No, we're talking about
Very
the 500 though,
Correct,
right?
not the July,
Yeah.
whatever that's called.
Yeah, I
the
would-
Pepsi
I would
400.
say only a couple of them. Now you're going to have
I
because
know,
now I'm
sorry.
sitting here like,
I'm curious.
how many drivers have?
I mean, if there's a place to do it, that's the place to do it. Big weekend.
But I really had high hopes for Kyle Busch. Even at the very end of it, he was still in it.
I can't believe you chose Kyle Busch. I know you're on your whole Kyle Busch has got a new leaf, but
Yeah, I mean,
so many years we just rooted against him. We hated Kyle Busch. He's such a punk.
I know, and that's. Let's see. So that was So Michael McDowell,
Okay.
2021.
Mm-hmm.
David Reagan.
Is this Xfinity or Cup?
No, these are
all-
cup. These are cup drivers, and that's the thing. Trevor Bain,
Xfinity drivers.
The thing is maybe Michael Waltrip. I think Michael Waltrip.
Okay.
The thing
Michael.
about it is, as much as people don't want to admit it, Daytona and Talladega, those super speedway races, you don't have to have a great
There's not a
car.
lot of skill.
You have to have a car that'll keep up with speed and that can draft. It's
Avoiding the wrecks.
it's a lot of luck.
Yeah.
It's a ton of luck. You have to
For
be in
sure.
the right place at the right time to win Daytona and Talladega. And yeah, that's why they always talk about Lady Luck being there at the end, and that's got a lot to do with it. But it was an interesting weekend. Now it'll be probably months before I get to watch another race because I feel like racing has gone downhill in the last few years. But you never know. We'll see what happens. But it was.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. You said that guy didn't have much practice, but not a lot of people think about it. It just takes a lot of guts and balls just to get in that car.
Absolutely.
And do it, especially when you're not, having the same practice as everybody or growing up in a car or anything like that. So, like, he's got to have a lot of guts to
What's
do
the
something
fastest
like that.
you've ever gone in a car?
Probably with you in it a long
I would say
time
driving
ago.
or riding.
Either. The fastest you've gone in a car.
Probably 155.
155 in a
Driving?
car?
Driving or...
In a car?
In a car.
What car?
I don't know.
155?
I probably haven't gone over 120.
I've done 135. Driving. Colby's
I've been in the
Contour
car with...
SVT.
I've been in the car
car
with
that
you,
everybody
though,
drove.
doing, like, crazy amount in, like, a
But
really
just
low
like
speed limit zone.
100, even 100 miles an hour. 100 miles an hour. If you're driving a car at 100 miles an hour, you are like,
It's fast.
you're white knuckle. These dudes are doing 200 miles an hour with 40 other cars around them.
Around them. And that's,
Constantly trying to avoid them.
And I mean, these cars are literally
Tough.
like we could
from
pass
us,
water bottles
like,
to each other.
Yeah, that's
nuts.
it's insane, man. It's nuts. It's
Wow.
nuts. But
Lots of trust in your team.
it'll be
right?
interesting to see where the season goes. I've got high hopes for my drivers that I like, so we'll see what happens. But moving on, Daytona was fun. Great speed week, entertaining. Plus, having a nice long weekend kind of helped.
Yeah,
Just relax
extra
and
day.
enjoy
Our
it.
whole family's in a big NASCAR family for a
Yeah.
while, so all
Praise,
of them
praise Hill,
felt that.
praise Dale. Woo!
Yes.
I want to finish. I want to finish up on a couple notes. Before I hit these notes with y'all on the NFL, I did want to throw one thing out there. I just watched the video today. It's an MLB player, and I just have to say, I know the guy. Never watched him play a lot. Never really been big on the guy. Don't know a lot about him. Have you seen this Anthony Rendon interview that came out?
No, I haven't.
So this came out, and it's kind of making big waves on social media. A reporter asked him, "Is baseball your biggest priority?" And he said, "No." He said, "Baseball is not my biggest priority." And they were like, "Well, explain." He was like, "Baseball is a job." He's like, it's how I make my money." He said, "It's a job." He said, "My faith and my family come before anything else, baseball included."
Mm-hmm.
And the reporter kept trying to like harp on this question and was like, and he's like, "So baseball is my job, and I'm going to do everything I'm supposed to do. But baseball is not the biggest priority I have in life."
Mm-hmm.
And to hear a professional athlete, because like what you were saying, like you expect that athlete to say, "Yes, baseball is my life. Football is my life. Basketball is what I live for."
Mm-hmm.
It was such a breath of fresh air to hear a professional athlete say, "Now this is a job. Don't get me wrong; it's a high-paying job.
Right.
Provides some really awesome stuff.
Get to have a lot of fun.
Exactly. But this is a job. This is how I make my living. It's a job. My faith and my family are priorities to that." I just wanted to hit on that for a second because it really, I was taken back when I saw this interview because it was a very big breath of fresh air. Not just in baseball, but in sports nowadays.
Well, yeah, people don't want to talk about faith. Nobody wants to, really talk about how important God is in their lives.
Yeah. And, everybody, we believe everybody, you got to live your own life.
Absolutely.
But you're starting to see it a little bit more. C.J. Stroud was a big one this year. Like, every time that they interviewed him, my man was like, "I want to thank God, my creator, for putting me here." Hearing Rendon say, "No, my faith and my family come first. That's the priority in my life." Just stuff like that. I'm really like, I really smiled a lot today after I watched that interview because it kind of gives you faith back in humanity a little bit.
It sounds like something you would say.
Huh?
Sounds like something you would say, right?
You think?
He played for a pro team.
I mean, right. But you got to have your priorities in order. And
Yeah,
we know
absolutely.
that, like normal people, right? We know we make choices every day that put God and our family above other things, above work.
Well, and being on that high level,
But-
on that big stage.
Correct.
And you got to think, Rendon was one of the better players in the league, especially when he was in Washington and they went on that championship run. Nobody thought they were gonna run, and he got traded to LA, thinking big things are gonna happen. It could be one of those things where he's kind of thinking more about his family now.
Mm-hmm.
He's built a family, and maybe he's thinking next few years I'm probably going to be retired.
His priorities have changed.
My full mindset isn't on baseball now, and that's not a bad thing. He's looking to move forward, and grow in his life and stuff. But that's awesome to see that, especially in an interview, and for him to say that to the public. Like you said, more and more people need to say that and just appreciate those kind of things, because you never know.
And embrace the things that you believe in.
Right.
Like, whatever it is.
Right.
Like, if you believe family is more important than anything, then embrace that and live that.
Be confident.
Absolutely.
What do we always tell our kids? Speak with conviction.
Yeah.
Like, believe what it is you're saying.
Absolutely.
And say it like you mean it.
Well, that being said, I just wanted to hit on that for a second. Anthony Rendon, definitely my guy. If you ever see this, I'm like, definitely earned a ton of respect in my book after I saw that interview. I love the way he handled it. They kept asking him, and he was like, I'm sorry. He was like, I think I've properly answered your question already.
Right.
And, like, the guy was like, I guess in a way you did. It was just like, come on. like, dude, leave this guy alone. Like, he answered your question. He told you. He didn't tell you what you wanted to hear is what it is, and you want to keep harping on it. The man answered the question. Respect him for it. Move on. And he gained, like I said, he gained a lot of respect in my book today watching that interview. I don't know if that interview was from today or a couple days ago, but I really respected that. And like I said, breath of fresh air, looking at pro athletes and stuff to hear that kind of thing. So, That being said, moving on. Our last big thing we've got tonight, we got a little bit of NFL news. I know everybody watching is like, what do you mean NFL news? Super Bowl's over. It's done. What
They're
are you
already
guys
talking about
about?
off-season stuff. It's just a hot topic.
Let's bring it.
Well,
Get ready.
The draft is always something I feel like an NFL fan, the moment the Super Bowl's over, you're already thinking about it.
Because look, it's already February. It'll be April before we know it.
Right.
It's almost February's over.
And this draft is going to be, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see. I feel like a lot of the stuff, like draft day kind of stuff is going to happen.
When all the moves start happening.
And I don't think it's going to happen until the last second. I think a lot of the stuff is going to be like, some of the stuff maybe within the last hour before the draft opens. Just seeing some of these big moves. One of the big things that I saw today, and there's information constantly coming out right now. I'm like, I could probably go on Twitter and see something new
updated,
about it.
Yeah.
Justin Fields, I know right now everything's up in the air. Caleb Williams, first pick overall. You got Marvin Harrison Jr. You got the Bears that have the first overall pick that have some different needs. You've got other teams that are jockeying for position trying to get that Caleb Williams. But today, Justin Fields unfollowed the Bears on Instagram. And I know that some people will look at that and be like, that's not a big deal. I've read things that were like, he may not have been following them to begin with, but...
Somebody realized today that he's not.
But there's also, he follows a ton of his teammates.
Right.
And they're like, people are almost positive that he did follow them, that he has unfollowed them. Is that for as I'm not a Chicago fan, none of us are, but if you're a Chicago fan, is that concerning to you right now? You guys, as Chicago fan, your team has invested a lot in this guy.
But
Right.
I feel, my personal opinion is that they failed to develop him in a way that worked for their structure.
But so you're saying that's more of a coach's problem?
Yes. I think that they didn't, develop him as they needed to fit their style.
Yeah.
You think with the right coaching, he could be developed into more of an elite-ish player?
I didn't say elite.
Oh, just asking.
Productive.
Okay, there you go.
Productive.
Yeah, and that could just be like a story, just to get publicity.
True.
Absolutely.
It could be something completely fake. I personally think, just from studying Caleb Williams and liking him as an athlete the last 2 years, he doesn't want to go to Chicago. He's already made it apparent to his agent he's going to get what he wants. Most likely, Justin Fields is going to stay in Chicago, I think, because, like you said, he's developing right now. He has a good shot at becoming a great quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with his running ability and his arm getting better and better, and him getting a few more weapons, getting a few more good coaches, you can make a great quarterback out of that. There's no reason to get rid of him.
But how long are they willing to wait? And how long is Justin Fields willing to wait?
I think especially this year, he got hurt. He went 7-6 as a starting quarterback, which is pretty decent for a second-year quarterback with what he had and all the coaching troubles. They added one piece last year, DJ Moore.
Yeah.
And he was one of the hottest pieces on the team. You add another guy like Marvin Harrison because you stay with Fields, you trust him, then you get another dominant guy on the outside to go with DJ Moore and all the rest of the pieces they have. That's an offense. That's weapons.
So let me ask you this. They pass on Caleb Williams. Do they trade out of one? If you're not getting Caleb, do you trade out of one? Or do you spend that number one pick on a player that you need to fill a position?
Personally, I not a lot of people think he's going to go number one, but if Chicago does not get Caleb, they're going to get Marvin Harrison.
At number one?
They're going to get him at
so then let me ask you this. Well, because I'm like, you have teams like Washington who want to trade. Or who want Caleb Williams, rather, and they're sitting at 2. But you have teams that, and looking at, I can't remember who the top 5 was. I just went through it the other night, kind of looking to see who would be interested. Say you have a team at 3 or 4 who wants that number one. Mm-hmm. You can basically charge them the whole yacht.
You could.
To get that number one from you.
Yeah.
And maybe you still work it out where you can get Marvin Harrison Jr., and work in a couple other players as well.
Maybe some linemen to help block.
Well, and that was kind of my big thing is
the value of the number one pick.
If you can't say you have the opportunity to trade out, but you could trade out to 7. You can get 7th overall, next year's first rounder from a team, and maybe a second rounder this year or next year, all for that number one pick. If you have that opportunity. You already have DJ Moore. You've got a great weapon on the outside. Is Marvin Harrison really the biggest need you have?
I don't think it's the biggest need, but he would definitely
could be the most
fill up. Yeah, exactly. Most impactful. Could fill a big hole and have that other guy on the outside that is elite. There's no questions.
Do you think with second and third rounders and free agency you can fix the issues on defense?
I personally think, they got new coaches. Their defense wasn't terrible last year. If you really look at the games where they had Fields and they did good on offense and they kept the defense off the field, more often than not, the defense did pretty well and they didn't do bad. I feel like that's with any team. If the offense stays on the field 55-60% of the time, that defense is more likely going to be pretty good, even if they're not the best, because they're more healthy, got fresher legs.
Yeah.
I think with a different coach there, the uprising of Fields, they're just going to keep that same platform going, and I think they're going to be pretty good in the next year.
So you're saying you're pretty much sticking with Marvin Harrison at number one overall.
I think if that's the route they want to go, but like you said, if Washington or number 3 wants to trade and they have more value, they can get Marvin Harrison at 2 and 3 and possibly something else off the top of that.
I'll tell you, if I'm Chicago and I know I'm trying to keep Fields, I'm calling Washington right now.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey man, let's work this out now. Let's not wait till the last second.
And if he falls to 2, you have to get him. Because if you trade with Washington, you have to get him at 2.
Yeah. Because he's the kind of player, like a quarterback's different. You have to really have a need to go quarterback that early. A wide receiver like Marvin Harrison Jr., there's really not a team out there that couldn't use him.
Absolutely.
I'm like, think about the Bills, the Eagles even. I mean, we have a great wide receiver core. I would lose no sleep over getting like a Marvin Harrison Jr. Mm-hmm. Like, that's the kind of player who really can change.
He's an elite. He's a very elite receiver, and you haven't seen one like that really since Devontae Smith. Mm-hmm. And look how good he's done in his years with us. So
it'll be interesting to see. Do you think that the Instagram thing is overplayed, or do you think that there's any bearing in that?
I mean,
Bearing, no pun intended.
Haha, giggity. I think that maybe he's upset at something. Maybe he's heard rumblings about.
Caleb?
Yeah.
I'm just giving him away for Caleb.
Perhaps just, maybe he's just feeling some type of way and wanted to throw, for lack of a better word, throw a temper tantrum, kind of just show his displeasure. And it also gets everybody talking about him.
Yeah.
Which, may not always be a bad thing.
Let's say, no publicity is bad publicity, right?
That's right.
Said all
No such thing
all
as bad
publicity is good publicity.
No, there is no bad
Yeah, there's
publicity.
no such thing as bad press.
But I guess technically, no publicity, not having any publicity is bad publicity.
Yeah,
too,
true.
So, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. That's a big one. That I plan to keep my eyes on, is to see where Chicago kind of moves around in that. What comes out in the next couple of weeks over it. And some other news that I'm hearing: the possibility of Atlanta moving up for Jaden Daniels.
That'd be smart.
It's interesting. It's an interesting thing because you have to ask, what, if anything, does Atlanta have to give away to get where they need to be to get Jaden? They already have a pretty good draft pick. I think Atlanta's going off
Not 100%, but like you said, that would be beneficial for them if they don't want to stick with Ritter or have Ritter as a competing quarterback with Jaden, and see who fits the number one position better. I just feel like with Bijan and Drake London and Kyle Pitts, who haven't had their, Drake London had a pretty good year last year, but still they haven't had their breakout years yet.
Right.
Yeah.
And I feel like Kyle Pitts is on the edge of, exploding. He's just one of those guys that, like, you need to be throwing him the ball in the red zone a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And even if he's missing them, give him the opportunities, because a guy like that should be getting 10 to 15 touchdowns a year just because how big and lengthy and fast he is. Like, he can play an outside position, spread out the defense and, run as a receiver.
Well, so Atlanta right now is picking 8.
Okay.
I don't think Jaden Daniels makes it all the way to 8.
No, and like you said, they could probably trade, a few second-round or third-round picks for.
But do you trade that, or do you maybe look at, hey, Desmond Ridder wasn't the guy, young quarterback, like you said, he has weapons around him. Do you maybe look at trying to pick up some kind of a veteran quarterback to lead some of these younger guys? I know earlier you were saying look at like maybe a Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins, yeah. That would be a good fit for them. Like I said, they have a really talented offense, good offensive line. Everything is good there. I just think the quarterback needs a little help. That would probably be good for Ridder, too. Bring in a veteran, have him play behind him for a few years, develop him.
I feel like teams are getting away from that, and they shouldn't.
Correct. It's a culture thing, too, I think. Like, the veterans give so much insight to culture and how quarterbacks can develop as leaders, not just somebody who throws the ball well, but to really be that field general, somebody that can be out there and can run the offense on the field and can do what you need to do. And you don't get that a lot out of young players.
Well, to clear up something that we were just talking about, I went ahead and looked it up. You've got New England picking number 3. That changes a lot.
Yeah, and they're going to win
hungry.
Drake May or Jaden Daniels.
Yes.
Depending on, the new head coach, what kind of style of quarterback he wants.
If the Patriots trade to Chicago to pick up Caleb Williams, does Washington pick up Harrison, or do they go for the next quarterback in line?
Washington's probably going to get Jaden Daniels.
So then that brings up the question for Chicago. If you're not going to get Caleb Williams, you very well could possibly trade to New England and get some really strong draft picks and still come out with everything you want and then some.
Yeah, like you said, there's a lot of value at the number 1 overall pick, so
because
a lot of things are going to happen before draft day.
Because Arizona's picking 4. And I'll tell you right now, if Marvin Harrison Jr. is still on the board at 4, Arizona, he's gone.
Yeah,
he's going to Arizona. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, they absolutely need
100%.
100%.
You've got the Chargers as well.
That's who
picking
they
5.
have picking Harrison is the Cardinals, because that's really their biggest need
Yeah, most
Has been
definitely.
for a while.
They need a receiver to help develop that whole squad out there.
Well, it'll be interesting to see. Yeah, then you've got. Oh, yeah, I don't know what's up. All of a sudden, like, man,
Catchton, you make
Oh,
me
wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up.
I'm 40 now. That's what it is. It's 8 o'clock. I'm past my bedtime. That's,
Old man
yep.
Randy.
But you've got New York Giants at 6, Titans at 7, Falcons 8. You got Bears again at 9, and the Jets at 10. It'll be very interesting. I think the Bears could. I mean, dude,
They could
if
clean
they
up.
make the right move, the Bears could own shop in this draft.
That's what I'm saying. They're one good draft away from being really good because I feel like if Fields stays healthy last year, they most likely make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it
who
was
knows
close.
what happens after that? You know, he missed those 4 games with Badgett coming in, a guy that's never seen the field at all. And he still didn't do bad, but with Fields in those games, they could have been a playoff team.
Could have.
Who knows what happens
Yep.
when you get there. So
Well, I've got one last thing I want to hit on, and this one's kind of more of a personal player thing. You know, we talk a lot about the game. We talk a lot about the ups and the downs and all that. And I think tonight, talking about Anthony Rendon, kind of hit on this a little bit. But this one was more of a family thing. Reading this article earlier, even almost got a little choked up because you don't think about this when you hear the player's name. You just don't think about it because he's always seems to be a happy guy.
I didn't know until I saw that video.
Yeah,
earlier.
like he's
wild.
when you see him on TV and all that, he's always a great color commentator, like sitting there having fun with the guys, like talking, joking around, bringing up good points. Reading this article today via the Big Podcast. Shaquille O'Neal had some advice for Jason Kelsey on his retirement, and he had told him, enjoy your family, brother. I lost my family and I didn't have anybody. You got the ring, lost my whole family. I'm in a 100,000 square foot house by myself. That was his retirement advice to Jason Kelsey. That one really hit me hard because we all know Jason Kelsey is a family man.
Yes.
Like he is.
He's a gem of the NFL.
He really, I mean, he really is.
He's a gem.
I love the fact that he's the bear. He is a gentle giant. Like
Look at him on game day. Everybody else is like Gucci'd out head to toe, and here he comes with like his slides and his sweatpants,
Flip-flops.
and he's
Yeah.
just chilling. Like, yep, I'm going to play
Wrestling
football.
belt.
He's
Yeah.
just like the guy next door. He's so relatable. He's just like your best friend that you play beer pong with on the weekend.
yes,
So relatable.
He's a true player.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Natural, true player.
And I feel like he is one of the last really old school mentality players. Like he really is. Like he cares about a lot of things that modern players don't really care about.
Right.
Obviously, they all care about the ring. They all care about the Super Bowl. They all care about finishing their career on a great note. It's no question that this year was a lackluster way to finish a career. I don't think it's a question at all that that's aided him since the moment that last whistle blew. We've gone back and forth about this a couple of times. What's your thoughts on it?
I don't know. I'm torn because I feel like I also see it from Kylie's side, right? Like she wants her husband back. She's been raising those 3 girls by herself as he's off traveling and doing the things that he loves, and you know, she's kind of taken a back seat, and she's been raising the family essentially alone for a big part of the year. And she also didn't think she was going to be a single parent. Like she wants her husband back. She wants to spend time with her husband, and I get that. But I think that if he doesn't come back and at least try for it one more time, he will have this like
Right.
sense of regret that will eat at him.
Yep.
That what if?
Yep.
What if I had just went back? And that like one little like mustard seed like in there can just eat, you know, and ruin him down the road. Like it could cause mental strife, and I don't want that. He's a good guy. I would hate to see that happen.
I think, especially last year, the heartbreaking loss where I will forever say we had the best team, probably one of the best teams we'll ever have besides our Super Bowl team. Him losing to the Chiefs and his brother,
Yes.
Travis, he congratulated him all he want. He was gut-wrenched from that.
Absolutely.
Watching him win again, no matter how much he was cheering in the press box and supporting his brother, they showed a picture of him watching him celebrate, literally like this, straight face. He's pissed off.
Yeah.
He's in his mind. He knows he has juice left.
He is
Absolutely.
It's a
man.
matter of what if he wants to use it.
He is a man of emotions, and like when he channels that anger, he is one of the scariest players in the league. Like you do not want to go up against that
Tush
guy.
push,
Like,
dude.
but I will tell you this: that Super Bowl we lost, the Chiefs. I still I get teared up thinking about it because the moment where he went out, he congratulated Trav, and then he was like, "Where's my mom? Where's my mom?" And his mom finds him in the crowd. And she comes up, and he's dapping up. You can tell he's upset, but he's being himself. And the moment his mom gets there,
he loses it.
and he just loses it. And that, man, that shows to me who he is. He is a man of emotions.
Yeah.
And I think that...
And then he still sent her off to go celebrate with Trav.
Yeah, go celebrate with Trav.
celebrate
That,
with Trav.
he is a selfless dude. He is a selfless dude, and I think that if anything keeps him from coming back, will be that, because he's a selfless dude. I think he will. I think that there's a good possibility that he can say, "I understand that I may have that regret, but the needs of my family outweigh that." I think just like we talked about Rendon, I think Jason Kelsey is the same kind of guy that if his wife or his kids said, "Dad, we miss you. Dad, we want you back. You guys are the priority over any game that I've ever played. I'm coming home."
I think, especially with, thinking about retirement and then making their own podcast and everything, I don't think we hit on this a few weeks ago. We talked about it. I don't think we hit on it on the pod. Travis saying how much excuses we had when Jason was talking about our last game and how genuinely upset he got.
Yeah.
He did.
Upset, hell,
him and
he
his
was
brother.
pissed.
Yeah, he was
him and his brother do a podcast, called New Heights, and I obviously watch it a lot. Randy watches a lot, and he had to step off the air. And he not only left, he said, I got to take a minute.
He didn't come back.
He didn't come back for the whole episode. He was gone until the next day. He couldn't get his stuff together that night because he was so upset he was going to freak out on his brother. And, Travis was saying all this excuses, trying to get him all heated.
Right,
and I'm like, dude, you're giving this guy more incentive to come back.
Right.
And
let's not forget, I'm not trying to bring it up and make it a back and forth thing, but let's not forget, Jason Kelsey would tear Travis apart like a damn grizzly bear.
Yeah.
Jason Kelsey is a beast.
He is.
And to see that guy, he said it perfectly. He was like, no one can piss me off the way Travis Kelsey can.
yeah,
Who
no one can
pisses you
get
off the most?
We're not getting into
Who
that.
pisses you off the most?
Nobody can get to me like Travis can.
Yeah, it's
It's a brother thing,
Yeah.
and it's different, coming from a friend or a random Joe. Like the fact that it was his brother, and he beat him when, not even saying as an Eagles fan, I've heard this from so many other people. We had the best team. That was one of the best teams I've ever watched us play.
Self-destruct.
Well,
It was a great game. I mean, dude, that was one of the better Super Bowls, but that end.
let's not forget that this year, even though we did have a shitty ending, we did beat the Super Bowl champs.
Yeah.
We beat the Super Bowl champs.
I don't want to talk about our year. It was so up and down. We had a very talented team, and we had a lot of potential. Just a lot of coaching and just not being in sync with everybody. That'll tear down a whole season. Doesn't matter how you start it. But
Actually, yeah, you did.
Yeah, we did in the regular season,
You still beat them.
but we didn't beat them when it counted.
yeah.
Now, that's
we never
true.
beat them when it counts.
But
And that's the problem. That's where the frustration.
I think with Kylie and the Dart, I think they're going for number 4. I believe she's pregnant again.
and that's
I think their 4th Dart. That's going to weigh in.
it's got to.
I've especially noticed on their podcast just from watching it, their daughters are so supportive of him.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
they
Yeah.
love watching him, and so is Kylie. Like,
I'll say, and
she
Kylie is too, man.
loves watching
She is the supportive wife that every man in pro sports should hope to ever
him.
Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
like,
exactly.
Yeah.
like I was just saying, like, nothing, not knocking on her or anything, but she ain't no Giselle.
No,
Like,
not at all.
and I think that, like we were talking about earlier, I think that I could see Kylie being that wife to say, hey, listen, I understand that it may eat at you for the rest of your life if you don't do this, and you need to
Don't
do
do
this to get that closure. Just promise me that this is it. You make one more run, and then you come back to us. Win or lose, you come back.
I think, honestly, that's what's going to happen. She's going to be like, go get it one more time and work your ass off and do everything it takes, every game,
Leave everything out on the
Yep.
field.
everything.
and
I
that's
feel-
what it is.
You say that, but dude, especially these last 2 years, this guy every single game down to the last second leaves.
Oh,
Nothing.
It all
yeah.
out on the field,
Yeah.
and even like when we were down a bunch at the end of the Bucks, going over to his family saying his goodbyes, all teary-eyed and stuff. You could tell that guy was physically exhausted because he left it
dude.
all out there, man.
Always.
Like
He's
he tried
always-
his best,
Yeah.
no matter what he could do. He tried.
Well,
yeah,
I want to
got that extreme.
Yeah, those are good.
I want to hit on that again to finish this off and just say
Extreme.
that as Eagles fans, no matter what Jason Kelsey does, I'm going to respect his decision as a fan. I know some fans are just like, nah, forget that. If you don't come back, what the hell, man? Nah. Like, I understand. Nothing but when I say the utmost respect, maybe
Yes.
one of the most respected people in my book is Mr. Jason Kelsey. Again, just like we were talking about Anthony Rendon, Jason Kelsey, I don't know if you'll ever see this. You most likely won't. But if you ever do, just know the respect level in this house for you, my man, is as high as it can possibly get. You're a
Absolutely.
great person. You're a great player
Yes,
of
sir.
football, but more than anything, you're a great dad to your kids. You're just a great dude. So I hope he comes back. I'd love to see him come back for one more run and see us get that one big ring at the end to get that
I think we
closure.
got big
But
things in store for this coming up year.
I think so. But like I said, if not, I also respect and understand the decision.
Yeah.
And I
Of
have
course.
nothing but the best wishes for him and his family. moving
You'll
forward.
know if we get a center first round.
Yeah,
Right.
we enjoyed watching you play.
'Cause that's like
Absolutely.
that's
We
100%
enjoyed,
what's going to happen.
Could be.
If he declares that's going to be our number 1 pick, and that's the smartest pick.
Yeah.
Start from scratch.
That being said, let's go ahead and knock these snacks out again. Let's
Yep.
finish this thing up
Ready to
because I've been
go.
sitting here eating these
Y'all
damn
been
sour
bogarting
things.
those pretzel sticks over there.
leave them.
Oh, I did. My bad. I just moved them out while we were talking. You could have asked for them.
Yeah.
I haven't been eating them. I ain't
Sorry.
Bogart none.
I was trying to get your attention a couple. Like, hey, man, give me a pretzel.
Yeah, I saw you looking at me, but I didn't know. Sorry. I'm good, thank you.
No.
I've had a few. I think I got my rating set.
All right. So
Those are really good.
Yeah, man.
Got a little bit more
They're a
kick.
little messy. I might use chopsticks with these.
Chops.
That kind of like
Just have,
Cheeto
like-
dust stuff.
Yeah, napkin with you, a wet nap.
Well,
Damn.
since you already got your rating for it, you go ahead and start it off.
Well, yeah, when I brought on the dots, I obviously said it was one of my favorite snacks to snack on during any game. But these step it up a little bit. I'll say it's like a dot with a little bit more kick to it, and it's a good kick. I'll give the pretzels just because I am a pretzel fan, a solid 9, and you put in a little cheese dipping sauce, probably make it a banger 10. The Airheads Extremes, a little bit less extreme than I thought it was going to be, but the flavor, I'll give it to the flavor. I'll give the flavor a solid 8. Not too sour. I don't really like the sour a lot, so the fact that it wasn't and it has some good flavor, pretty good snack. Give it a solid 8.
Not bad. Not
9
bad.
and an 8.
9 and an 8. What do you got, baby?
Yeah, these pretzels, man. I hope they don't become hard to find after this.
Right.
Kick.
Man, they were really, really good. I think I'm also going to have to give these pretzels a 9. They're really, really
Secret
good.
voodoo seasoning. I want to know what it is.
When it's on the chips, I feel like it tastes like a salt and vinegar with a little bit of smoky taste, and I kind of get that a little bit on these too. Same seasoning.
Pretzel,
wise.
it's a little bit different.
Yeah, so I'm
It's
gonna
a
go
little different.
with a 9 for the pretzels. The Airheads, yeah, I would have liked more sour. I thought they were really, really sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Good flavor, but I'm gonna give them. I love the consistency. I'm gonna give them a 6. And yeah, had they been more sour and a little less sweet, they probably definitely would have been like an 8.
Well, I'm going to start with the Airheads. I know I've been sitting here literally munching them the whole time. It wasn't because I thought that they were like super good. I've been sitting here trying to gauge if I like them or not. I keep going up and down on stuff. Like I take a bite and be like, oh, that's really good. And then like the aftertaste, I'm like, oh, it's not. And then the sour not being there, and then the sweet. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to give the Airhead Extreme. I'm going 5.5. I'm going 5.5 on the Airheads. They're good. They're worth trying, especially if you like that style of candy. You probably get a much higher score out of somebody who likes that style of candy. Me, I like the sour a little bit more. Maybe I've just had so much freeze-dried stuff over the last few weeks that eating an actual piece of candy is like, what the hell is this? Yeah, I'm going to go 5.5 on the Airheads. I am going to say, though, the Zapp's pretzel sticks, from a guy who loves voodoo chips.
Got to give it to the pretzels.
I don't know. The pretzel sticks, I get the voodoo seasoning and stuff on them, like, and they do taste like they have a good buttery flavor to them. They don't taste a ton like pretzels. They got voodoo.
Got that
But
smirk.
I'm like,
about to say something.
Yeah.
That being
About to say
said,
something.
I'm going. God, no.
Fine.
I'm talking. That's a solid 9.5.
There you go.
You have to try these voodoo pretzel
Yes, you
sticks.
do.
They
This
really
is
are.
one of the best snacks I've ever had in my life. These things,
Yes.
you know
They're
why
so
I
good.
had to leave them over here and not up here? Because I don't know if you've noticed, I have to turn my headset off every time I eat some because
They're
I'm crunching in them.
crunchy. Yeah.
I'd have my headset off the whole damn podcast because I'd be sitting here eating this whole damn bag. 9.5 for the pretzels, the voodoo pretzel
Yeah,
sticks.
amazing.
Those are amazingly good. Sinfully seasoned is what they say. That's 100%
Yeah,
accurate.
they are
They
That
are.
full.
one, woo! That one
They-
just had a little extra zest
Yeah,
on
that
it.
has like a
They-
bang.
man.
They have every bit of flavor you want. Buttery, voodoo flavor, good consistency.
New Orleans,
not big
baby.
pretzel pieces, like very well done pretzel sticks from a guy who I can't believe I just
I
gave him that
know.
score. A guy who hates pretzels. I would literally sit here and eat this entire damn bag, and it doesn't matter what sport I'm watching. I'm taking the whole bag down. And if you put the cheese dip on it, I don't know if there's a rating high enough for that.
Yeah. Ding,
Little,
ding, 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 ding.
little beer cheese.
Oh, yeah.
Little beer
Ooh,
cheese with
now
some
you're getting me
voodoo.
with the beer
Mr. Zapp needs to meet Miss Dot.
Right.
We got something in common.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Know how
Well,
to make a pretzel.
that being said, that is everything we've got for everybody tonight. Thank everybody. Thank y'all so much for being here tonight. Thank you for
Yes,
being here
thank
for
you,
another
thank you,
episode
thank
of
you.
Sports Bites.
Thanks for tuning in.
We've tried not to harp on it too much this episode, but finishing this off, I do want to say continue liking, continue subscribing. Get the likes, subscribes, share this out there. And above
Yes.
everything else, on top of that, comment. We've started getting some really good engagement from
Yes.
everybody on the comments. Comments, you want to shout out? Comment it up. We'll see what we can do. It's your mom's birthday. I know we keep saying it. Shout it out. We'll see what we can do. Anything in the comments, if you want to see different content, if you want to see different snacks, give us some ideas. We want to see it. We want to hear it from y'all. Y'all out there are why we do this. We are here to do this for y'all. And we are having a blast doing it, I must say.
I got a little shout out.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
We got a birthday coming up this week. Another one.
Wait. Who's that?
Birthday.
You talking about George Washington?
I think that was a couple days ago.
No, George Washington's actually on the same day.
Yeah, I know it is.
Oh,
I know
my
it
bad.
is.
I'm a little. Oh, I'm thinking of Lincoln.
Yeah.
Back on the 12th. That's my grandma.
Right.
But over here on the Double Deuce 222, we got a birthday. I'll leave the year out. I saw you peeking at me.
Number 26.
Plus quite a few.
Plus
But-
5.
Yeah.
31.
26, you a damn liar.
Wait, can he be 26? Because then that makes we're not
We're
gonna
not
talk
getting
about
into
that.
this. We're not getting
That's
into this.
high math. We're not getting into that. Happy birthday, Don. You got a birthday coming up, a couple days. I hope it's a good one for you.
Yes.
Bud.
Thank you.
Yes.
Don't feel much older.
Nah.
It's only a number, baby.
Absolutely. Well, Donnie, thank you again for being on tonight. Rachel,
Yes,
thank
sir.
you again. First time guest.
Thanks
Did
for
you have a
having
good
me.
time?
I did have a
Yeah.
good time.
Yep, this was a
We get on
blast.
here and
Very
talk
good
a little
time.
bit more baseball.
Right. I know
come
that
in.
we've-
I really wanted to talk
Baseball
about Spencer
season's
Strider.
coming up.
I know you did. But now
all
you've
that
kind of
cake,
gotten
y'all.
a little taste of
have.
it. You're a little more comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Now you're ready to rock and roll for because baseball season, when it starts kicking, we're going to be doing some baseball. I do also want to say,
My
I'm throwing this
favorite
out there. We've got a little something coming up. I know we've kind of dabbled with the idea of it. We're planning on maybe the week before the MLB season truly kicks off with their first full week. I think we are going to change format for a night, and I believe we are going to do a 4-pillar trivia night.
You're really gonna
2v2
see your girls.
Trivia night. That's what's going to happen. That's going to be
Me,
that is
Robert.
going to take
Who's
place.
on my team?
No, me and Robert are on a team.
It's a coin flip. It's a coin flip.
I'll take Brent.
It's a coin flip.
Me and Robert versus Don and Brent. I'm here for it.
But that is going to happen. We just want to throw a little preview out there for y'all to let y'all know that it's coming. Again,
coming.
That's being said, again, I can't thank everybody enough for being out, being a part of this, being here, watching us, seeing this. Again, like and subscribe one more time, just to get the name out there, help us support the channel, help us support the brand. And thank you again, all. Thank you, Donnie. Thank you, Rachel.
No
Thank you,
problem.
everybody out there.
Let's go.
We love you. Thank you so much. We are SportsBites. We are your self-proclaimed #1 sports podcast, bringing you the best of both worlds.
Sports.
And snaps.
Did it right that time.
Thank y'all so much for being here. We love you. Have a great night.
Bye.
Later.
Long as I wake up in the morning, I'ma get a bag. Get a bag, yeah, I'ma get a bag. Long as I wake up in the morning, I'ma get a bag. Get a bag, yeah, I'ma get a bag.